Very peculiar
It
song.
was very peculiar. We did not choose it. It was the first thing on the
No,
playlist.
this is automatic playlist between acts. That's how it's done, you know. We've just given away some vital secrets of Oxide Radio.
Also, apologies for the moment of silence that you possibly may have experienced a few minutes before we came in. We thought it was to do with the show before us, maybe leaving the sound off. But I think it may have something to do with a fellow called... We're going to call him James, who's just appeared in the studio today. It's quite peculiar. We walked in, the lights were off, as they usually are. It's quite a niche time of night. And there was this bloke, some child. How old would you say he is?
It's just hard to age. He could be anything from 12 to 50.
This gets from H&M Kids.
I don't know.
He's cowering in the corner, so we can't really get closer to have a look.
The only reason we know he's called James, he hasn't said anything. The only reason we know he's called James is because as soon as we walked in the room, he just shouted James at us really loudly.
Yeah.
He might have thought we were both
It's
collectively called James,
since.
but yeah.
Maybe he thought James was a collective noun for like really cool people.
Quite possibly. It's just not clear, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
But he's just sitting there now, so...
Well, I don't know, I asked him if he wants to drink. He hasn't really replied yet. He's sort of rocking back.
Probably a good thing, since we don't actually have any drinks to give him, so...
No, we apologise. We both have a bit of a cough, so if we both start coughing, please be indulgent with us, because last week I was so organised. I was on it. I had the cough sweets, I had the water, I had, like, what are they called? Corvoids?
I have no idea.
These amazing uber strength throat lozenges that you can only have 10 of in a day, because otherwise you'll die, because they're so strong. I get so excited by stuff like this. You have to excuse me.
I don't blame you. It's unbelievable stuff. But this week, we've been negligent. We don't have anything. We just no water, nothing. We could die on air, ladies and gentlemen.
There's a packet of sweets over there. Can you have those?
Is there? Ooh.
Yeah. It's always quite exciting here at Oxide HQ.
You can hear them rustling. No, they are actually empty. Sadly.
They're empty. What are they? The Natural Confectionery Company.
Oh, they were called with it. A picture of a pumpkin there. Oh, very Halloween themed.
I have a bit of beef with Halloween themed stuff this week. Did you by any chance experience the Butterkist Halloween themed popcorn?
No.
Well, it said to be Halloween themed. It was like, ooh, spooky popcorn, and it was in like a kind of purple and black packaging. And I thought, oh, this sounds awesome. Like maybe it's got, I don't know, a little bit of cyanide in it, or just something to mix things up.
Just a teeny bit. One in every 100 pieces.
Enough to make you wildly vom, but not enough to kill. Actually, surely it's the other way around, isn't it? If you have a lot of poison, you just vomit all up again. But if you have a tiny bit, it kills you. And if you have an even smaller bit, you can build up a tolerance to it, like Mithridates.
Any toxicologists out there, get on our chat room and tell us.
Yeah. Talking of the chat room, if you haven't been using it already, please do. We really value your input, because we're not selfish like that.
And also, because there is no listener count, so it's the only method we have of gauging how many people are actually listening to us.
Last week, for instance, we thought a listener count was 4. Turned out to be 5. So, please, that's an exaggeration.
At least.
I reckon we're in double figures at least. But please do get onto the chat room. Go on to www.oxideradio.co.uk. There's a tab called Chat Room. Go on there, give yourself a witty name, and then get talking. We can't guarantee we'll answer all your questions because we're so snowed under, lol. But you know, give it a go and have a chat.
What you got to lose?
Indeed, I'm still logged on with the previous show.
Oh really? We could say rude things under their name.
They're really polite. They said thank you for listening as always at the end and gave a smiley face.
We don't say that. We tell our viewers to F off.
Yeah, we tell them to F off. Oh, nice self-censoring.
Get back to your miserable lives, pitiful listeners.
Yes, what are you doing here at 11 o'clock when you should be going out or working?
You should be in camera right now.
Camera,
yes.
You said that in an oddly Renaissance way.
I did not say it as camera. It was you that said it as camera, and then I copied you. Whatever.
I thought it was copying you, God.
No. Who's copying who now? It's just so confusing, really.
But yes, please do get on our very, very lovely chat room.
Yeah. Are we now on as Procrastinators Anonymous? Our actual name?
Yeah.
Beautiful.
We were there as Fanny Badgers last week.
Fanny Badgers? So we were.
Yeah, I don't know what we were the week before. I think we might have just been Claire and Ben.
That's not very exciting.
Claire and Ben and James.
How about Claire and Ben, the Fanny Badgers? We can combine.
I think there's a limit to the number of characters you're allowed. It's very Twitter-esque.
How about... Okay, how many characters are we limited to?
I'll have a shit. Shall I try Claire and Ben the Fanny Badgers?
Go for it. Claire and Ben the Fanny Badgers.
Should we do something about James?
Yeah, Claire and Ben the Fanny Badgers and James. Those are in. How about
I'll do
that?
An ampersand. I like ampersands.
My favourite type of sand.
Yeah, it's very loud.
Yes.
Fanny Badgers and James.
Yay.
Oh no! Whoops! I typed that as a post. So
no.
If you get onto the chat room now, that is what you will see.
It's just so exciting, really. You know.
Why isn't it letting me?
I don't know. You're on a computer.
This is very peculiar. Well, we're now here as Radio Ladio, and I think
Radio Ladio. That's just not.
I think that is the people before us.
Can we be Rabia? No. Sorry.
Steady on. Okay, well, I'm going to be logging back in. But anyway, while I'm faffing away with that, do we have anything exciting that's happened over the course of this week?
Over the course of this week?
I mean, Ben's bike is still stolen.
That's true, my bike's still stolen. I'm thinking of buying a new one.
My bike is still broken, but not stolen.
Yeah.
Which is,
I don't know, if you procrastinate in an interesting way, that is technically the theme of our show, Claire. Any interesting procrastinations?
Way by convincing myself that I have a long-term illness. And I'm sure you've done this before. There's standard technique, you sort of, in the olden days, say like in Jerome K. Jerome's 3 Men in a Boat, which is a fantastic recountant of this, you would get like the old family medical encyclopedia out, start at A, work your way down to Z, and be like, I have all these things. I have zoonosis and I have tonsillitis. That's because I couldn't think of anything.
What's zoonosis? Like I'm turning into all sorts of animals.
I don't know, but
I'm turning into a seal.
Sarah Palin is clubbing me to death. It is one of those things that you have to get injected against if you work with animals, interestingly. So maybe it's so that you don't catch the animal from them.
Really?
Yeah, but it's a very peculiar thing. But yes, so it's quite a useful habit, and these days we'll go on like Bupa fact sheets or NHS Direct and be like, oh, we've had like a little bit of a sore leg for the last week. It's probably leukemia. So I recently decided, because I bloody love yogurt, ladies and gentlemen. I'm a vegetarian, so I have very few pleasures open to me, and one of them was yogurt. Clearly. I love the stuff. But recently I noticed that I'd sort of get like quite bad stomach cramps, start feeling a bit sort of sluggish, etc. So I thought maybe it's this vast quantity of yogurt that I'm consuming daily. So I knocked off the yogurt. I haven't been having any yogurt for the last couple of months, and I have felt slightly better, but I still feel a bit rough. And I have convinced myself that I might potentially be lactose intolerant. Now, I know what you're thinking, and I know this is what I thought as well, because people who are lactose intolerant, let's not beat about the bush, they're just massive twits, aren't they? They're so infuriating. I can't stand it.
It's not a real allergy.
It's not a real thing. Fair enough if you've got like
you don't
a
need an
peanut allergy
EpiPen,
that
it's
puts
not
you into
real.
anaphylactic shock.
Yeah.
But people are just like, oh, I'm a bit lactose intolerant. No, I'm not fat. I'm just bloated, yeah, because I've got lactose intolerance. Oh, piss off. But I think I actually might be. So as a bit of a light relief this week, I have decided to cut out all dairy-based products from my diet. And you know what? It's really difficult. Very, very difficult.
See, otherwise, because you see, we were going to just do it like, see if people noticed that Claire wasn't eating any dairy products over the course of the show. But
dead upon the floor.
Yeah, we've decided to lose the subtlety and just tell you out loud, you know?
Yeah, because I'm not entirely sure, like, nobody's quite sure what lactose intolerance is. And it's kind of like one of those things people beat about the bush, because I think it's kind of digestive-based, and people don't want to be like, oh, it gives you explosive diarrhea. But I think it is one of those sort of, like, it's just a bit of a dicky tummy.
It almost sounds like a vague form of racism, like I'm a lactose intolerant.
I
don't like lactose. I think British should be about non-dairy products. You know?
Really, do you reckon? Well, it should be the other way around, because like a lot of people, I think in Asia, like Japan and places like that, find the British quite abhorrent because we stink of dairy, apparently. I'm French, so I'm screwed. I stink of cheese and garlic.
Tell me about it. Locked in the studio with you, Claire, eh?
Yeah, sorry about that. I brushed my teeth before coming here.
Really?
Oh, yeah, I've got a new brand of toothpaste called Youthable, and it looks like some sort of patent.
I noticed that in the bathroom.
Yeah, it's cool, isn't it?
Yeah, I didn't know. I wasn't sure if it was toothpaste or some sort of other kind of cream. It just.
Have you ever seen? Do you watch Outnumbered?
No, I don't actually.
There's a fantastic one where like a girl is looking for a new tube of toothpaste from upstairs, and then there's this cracking line where she suddenly yells down the stairs, "Mum, it's 8-year-old toothpaste!" And her mum's like, "No!" It just runs.
Gonna be honest, don't know what that is. Assume it's something to do with vaginas. It's got the word
anus in it. It's a sort of piles cream, I believe.
Oh right, okay, cool.
Got all that to look forward to, eh?
Have you? When I get back today, I have so much piles cream lying around. Oh, it's gonna be lovely.
But yeah, it's just so checking out the old lack of lactose this week, and it should be quite interesting. I'll probably find out there's nothing wrong with me because I don't know if I've mentioned this before on the show, but over the last year, doctors have been trying to find out what's wrong with me because they keep thinking that basically I just have a ridiculous metabolism. And then I've been told I have an overactive thyroid, that I've got celiac disease, that I'm anemic, all these various things. And basically, I think it's just, in the words of Mark Watson, before you ask for the bill, I've already shat it out. And I think that's basically what's going on here.
Yeah, dong! Claire's bodily function of the week.
It's my only way of coping. It's the only thing that gets me through. I used to talk about my own bodily functions. In first week, we talked about other people's bodily functions. They really didn't appreciate it.
Not according to Paul, we didn't.
Not according to Paul. Yeah, I don't know what he's talking about there. Paul Whelan, if you're listening, I do not recall discussing my vagina.
I recall you saying something about it. What was it? It was no, it was something. It was something masturbatory that I had to do. Anyway.
Well, that's entirely different.
It definitely came up. Not yours, but it was. No, but it was specifically. I can't remember exactly, but it wasn't. No, it was because you mentioned. For those of you who've been sticking with this show from the first week, like, oh, nostalgia! I remember that first show. It was
It's like Vietnam.
It was when you spoke about how God, what was it? You said we were talking about method of procrastination. You said masturbation, one of my favourites, or something like that.
Yeah.
And then immediately regretted it.
I think it was because we're called Procrastinators Anonymous, and we're students. Like, presumably the predominant number, is that a thing, of our listenership are students also. And therefore, when you say, what's your best way of passing time, someone at some point will say masturbation.
I assume most of our listeners are doing that right now, just listening to our sexy voices, just can't help themselves, you know?
Yeah. North London fetishism.
Yeah, just like a hand kind of falling down. They just look at it and go, oh, what are you doing, hand? And the hand goes, well, you know, it's just ridiculous.
It's like that bit in the History Boys where Hector talks about how when you read a book, a hand just reaches out and touches yours. Or in our case, hand reaches out and does something else.
See, I did one of my GCSE maths exams was like that, where I just sort of like... What? I said to someone, I said to someone afterwards, I was like, was it just me, or did your paper also just grow a massive schlong all of a sudden, like in the middle of the exam, start raping you up the arse? So it was... yeah, so I kind of know what you mean.
Sitting in a very odd position for anal to get involved.
That's how I do exams, you know?
Yeah, backwards.
Yeah, so method of procrastination.
So yeah, I've been through mine, inventing a lactose intolerance for myself. What about you, Ben?
You know what I've been doing? I've been watching the History Channel.
Really? Cool.
It's an appalling channel.
Which one?
Because it's not really history. It's just, if there was an opposite of history, that would be the History Channel. It's just things that didn't happen. Like, I was watching a documentary the other day on how aliens might have built Stonehenge. Like, obviously I don't believe it. I'm watching it like out of for entertainment's sake. It's hilarious. But you know, I just don't believe that aliens built Stonehenge. And I'll tell you why I don't believe aliens built Stonehenge. It's not because there aren't aliens around or something like that, which there also aren't. But it's more just the fact that Stonehenge, it's just a bit shit. I mean, censored. It's just a bit rubbish.
It's just a load of bally, useless rubbish.
It's just a bloody mess. It's
Demonstrate.
It's just overrated. There's so many things wrong. First of all, the building material, stone, a rubbish building material. Could they not build out something nice like wood or like
fiberglass?
Or fiberglass, or like it's just stone. It's all big and grey and uninteresting. And then like it's just a terrible henge. Like it's just like things like two things next to each other.
How many other henges are you?
Terrible henge. Metal henge. It's just terrible. Like it's just a load of rocks piled up on it. Like sure, they're really big rocks. Like that, you know, you look back on these drills and go, oh, how clever they were with their ability to carry big rocks and put them on top of each other. There's not like a pile of rocks, like a really long, like a really tall tower. It's just like this ridiculous art shape, you know. I'll tell you what is good though. Like in America, they have a version of it with cars. They have a car henge that someone has built.
Really? That's quite
now
awesome.
that is impressive. If the Druids had done that, I'd be like, not bad, yeah. But the Stonehenge, it's just a rubbish henge. Yeah. It's just not interesting,
well,
you know?
I find Stonehenge quite upsetting in that you frequently see it when you're driving to the West Country on the motorway, and you'll be like, oh wow, it's Stonehenge, look out for Stonehenge kids. Everyone presses their sweaty face against the condensed window to have a little shufty at Stonehenge. And then it occurs to you, Stonehenge is essentially the biggest roundabout in the world. And then there's a load of sorry-looking tourists who've paid a fortune to get in there, clustered around. They're not allowed to touch the stones. They're probably contracting cancer. They're probably shortening their life expectancy by a considerable amount by inhaling the amount of pollution from that motorway. And then they shuffle back. I like to imagine them. They get like herded across the motorway, like across the River Styx when you die. And there's some sort of sorry-looking car park at the other side, and they buy some National Trust toffee and go home.
Basically, any day out in Britain, to one of our many tourist attractions.
I went to Blenheim Palace recently. Well, I went up to Blenheim Palace. A few people and I were doing a 10k run round the grounds, which was really nice actually. It was a very hot day, but I could roll with that. And then I was informed that we would get free entry to Blenheim Palace, which I thought was a bit odd because you'd have loads of sweaty runners just traipsing around Blenheim Palace, touching everything with our sticky hands. But it turned out that what we were allowed to do, we got free entry to the restaurants of Blenheim Palace. And I was like, oh, right, okay.
Free food at the restaurants, Claire?
And then I thought, this doesn't mean free food at the restaurants. This means you're allowed, you're given the privilege of walking through the door of the restaurant, upon which you will then pay for your dinner.